Boy, it's been a while since we've been able to hoist the colors, so to speak. Sticking with the somewhat. I know I was very specific with the movie theme that I put out there in the tweets tonight, but it feels good to be able to fly the colors tonight after a massive, massive win at the Emirates against that scummy lot up the road. Arse Bros Ryan, Angry Glenn from New York, Stan the man, and yours truly are going to get into it straight after this. Yeah, how is it, everyone? It is another episode of the Same Old Arsenal USA. I am the host with the least, Bearded Gooner. I just don't like to rhyme. You know, Stan's much better at the rhyming thing than I am. But that's his London roots, you know, coming through. Can rhyme his ass off. Below me, we'll go a little counterclockwise here. The Arsenal Esquire. All your Arsenal questions and complaints and lawsuits taken care of by this guy. Rowan is in the house. How are you, my friend?
Great. Couldn't be better. We are now above the champions of September. I couldn't be happier. So yeah, stoked and happy to share this with everyone in the comments, everyone here on the panel, and I'm excited to discuss the game and what's in store for Arsenal going forward.
Yeah, we'll definitely be getting into all of that. Stan, we talked on Sunday after the game. Yeah. How are you 2 days later?
Mate, I'm still buzzing, you know. North London derby win, still getting me through the week. And the old foot fungus is getting a little bit more manageable as well. So happy days.
That's tremendous. Oh, Glenn, top it.
What? I'm not topping anything. First of all, you introduced me as Angry Glenn from New York.
You're always angry, man.
But this is like the first time in like a year I've been kind of happy. You know, I thought we were doing a Star Wars themed episode with Ryan as Jar Jar.
Ryan, Glenn, that's perfect because Ryan absolutely would be Jar Jar.
But I'm not angry. I'm buzzing. And Rohan, I thought of you during the first half because you have been complaining for months that they have not been fun to watch, but I didn't know if you were DVRing the game, so I didn't want to spoil anything for you.
Yeah. Thank you. You didn't, because I did actually. I did DVR the game. And I watched it with so much excitement that when the third goal went in, I dropped coffee all over. And then
you were telling me this.
And hugged Sarah because, like, so that she doesn't yell at me. And then just continued watching as she, like, had to wipe the floor with it. But she understood. She understood that there was something massive going on. So, yeah. Thank you.
At the end of the day, that's pretty much like a prerequisite if you're going to get married now, right? Like, you know. The better half has to understand, especially things like this, right?
Yeah.
So, but speaking of getting married, Ryan with his shit pillow over there.
It's so funny. It's so funny you said that because Saturday is Megan's bridal shower, and I will be at the place at the bar watching us play Brighton. So that's gonna be funny. Hopefully, she doesn't need me. Hopefully, my new parents and my current parents don't need me because I'm going to be at the bar just going crazy watching the game, and they can have the bridal shower all to themselves. So, yeah, I'm great. I made a new hole in the pillow. That shit down the lot just got fucked. So
that's always good. Foot fungus.
I'll mention my beer real quick. Orbital Tilt IPA, it's hazy IPA by Captain Lawrence Brewing, because I
have a couple of Captain Lawrence's at the bar.
Yeah, Captain Lawrence is great. Orbital Tilt. I think that there's something going on. The moon and the stars was what?
What kind of a beer is it?
It's a hazy IPA.
Is it another? Okay.
Yeah, there's something going on in the moon and the stars, and things are starting to shift for us. I don't know if, again, I'm not gonna say, oh, we turned the corner, we're gonna win the league. No, but things are picking up a little bit. You know, I said baby steps the last 2 shows. I think this was a bit more of a bigger step than a baby step. I wouldn't say it's a giant step, but it's a bigger step. So I'm excited, and cheers.
Yeah. It's kind of funny because it's a lot of the talk right now around the club, like, well, within like the pundits and the media and everything is it's almost 11. We went from Sunday and it felt like everybody was, oh, just, how poor was Tottenham? That's what it was how poor were they? They stunk up the joint and Arsenal didn't have to try hard. They gifted them the goals to now, at least from what I'm reading, it's like, boy, if Arsenal can put in performances like this week in, week out for the better part of the remaining of the season, they've got a shot at top 4. I mean, this is, Paul Merson, take it with a pinch of salt, but Paul Merson is one of those guys that thinks, stay healthy, work hard. And look, and that's the key, isn't it, Stan? Is look, work hard, do your job, and we're going to need a little luck on our side too to stay healthy. But what you take that, and it's 1 week. Right, let's not jump off a bridge here either way. But that was a hell of a performance that we saw for the first 60 minutes, give or take. I know we didn't score in the second half, but it was something else, right? This is what we've been looking for, right, Stan?
Oh, sorry, I'm still thinking of Star Wars puns. You've definitely got Rohan Solo next to me. I'm not going any further than that. Maybe.
Wait. All right. So if Ryan is Jar Jar, Rowan is Han, who is Glenn?
I don't know who Jar Jar is. I know who he is.
Do you know who Jar Jar Binks is?
I know him, but I don't know.
Glenn is the Emperor.
Hey, Glenn. On the bright side of being Palpatine, you're in every Star Wars episode ever.
Yeah, but then at the end I get
Jar Jar.
But then at the end I get thrown down a big chute. So I don't know.
Yeah. Oh wait, so okay, wait. So who am I?
Well, obviously Chewbacca.
Exactly.
Come on.
Or who are you?
I don't know. I'm not sure. I don't know. I ain't for me to say.
You have an Obi-Wan feel about you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I can't give anybody here Luke. Nobody here is Luke. But yeah, I could. Yeah, I could see Obi-Wan.
I'll take Lando as well. I don't mind.
Little Lando Calrissian. Yeah, I could dig that too. Anyway,
I fucking am Jar Jar Binks. God damn it!
You really are. I'm
looking up Jar Jar Binks scenes, and I'm like, this is all right.
And it's joke, of all of this right now, like that's the one that makes the most sense. It's Ryan and Jar Jar Binks.
I'm sorry, Ryan. It was just a joke.
I like it.
It's definitely not. Anyway, I'm sorry. Back on track here, Stan. Again, I don't think the match was perfect, but as I said, we want to see these guys work hard, and for the better part of 60 to 65 minutes, they ran their tails off, didn't they?
Well, the game was one and done by half time, really. Do you know what I mean? It really was for me. It was done. Okay, we didn't score any more goals in the second half, but the job was done, and we closed the game out. I'm not going to complain. I think there's some record like that's the first time that we've in a North London derby that by half time it's 3-0.
Yeah, what more can you ask for? Spurs fans were leaving at halftime. What more can you ask for?
They were leaving before halftime.
Oh, I didn't see that. No, I didn't see that.
They were leaving at the second goal, weren't they?
After it was the third goal, and I just rewatched the match before we came on the air. At least the cameras, and I don't know does anyone know who NBC? They don't pirate the feed, but is it a Sky? Is it a feed from someone in England?
Sky.
So it's whoever has the rights over in England then to broadcast the game. So they have the Sky. They put the camera on after the third goal, they were showing Tottenham fans.
And
Maybe they're heading up to beat the beer line.
Surely they're just going to get a drink. That's what they.
That's what I was going to say. Like, are they just walking up to beat the beer line, or are they out the door? Yeah, Rowan. Like Stan said, the game was done and dusted by halftime, right? 3-0. Ryan and I had this conversation on Sunday, but does conceding the goal sting a little bit to you?
See, it was a dominant first half performance. And what I liked about it, like Glenn said, was there was some free-flowing football, right? And the free-flowing football came from counter-attacking that we did, which we spoke about on this podcast before, that I think that we are better off counter-attacking with the pace that we have rather than trying to pass through teams. And let's be honest, Spurs did allow us to do that because they had no midfield, right? Like they had we had Jamie Carragher said, right? Like there's probably more space in the there's more space in the moon than or there's less space in the moon than the midfield, right? Like it was just shambolic from them, but you have to capitalize, right? The complaint that I have, because I have to complain, right? Now the complaint is that
I'm sure I would like to think we all have some kind of complaint.
We've been 3-0 up in 3 games that I can think of, 3 big games, right? Like Manchester United, in which Sanchez, Theo Walcott, and Ozil had scored. We were 3-0 up in that game. We were 3-0 up against Chelsea after the season in which they won the league, and we were 3-0 up this time. But for some reason, instead of going and pressing on the opponent's throat, we just try to, sit back. And that causes us to lose control a little bit, because the second half, it was already won. So the onus wasn't on us. But there were instances that, Spurs had, which could have made this a tricky game, right? Because they did score 1 goal. I think it was a penalty that the Ben White, tackle. So that's been in 2 games. He's had 2 plays where he potentially could have given away a penalty. One with the short pass to Ramsdale, and then this time the one to Kane. And then Kane had 2 more chances, which generally he would bury. And I mean, you could say the same about our game against Chelsea, where we had that header of Holding just going past the bar, things like that. But you would count on Kane scoring more than Holding, right? So that being the case, I would really want us to press against the opponent's throat and go for 4, 5, and 6. Want a hammering. But again, like, I can't complain because I enjoyed that first half just so much. It was a pity that we didn't get more in the second half, but the game was done. We had a 2-goal cushion which put us above them. That's happy days.
Yeah, Glenn, let me ask you. Something else that I had said to Ryan, you might have been on the post-game show when I said it. No, I think this was just between Ryan and I.
No, I missed out on Ryan, so I didn't hear this.
Okay, well, this is what I said to Ryan, and I feel this way about sports in general. Look, the fact of the matter is, when you're on offense or you're in the attack, it's your job to score. It's not your job to not score. It's the opposition's job to stop you. And if I have a few complaints about Sunday. It was not a perfect effort, in my opinion. Probably the biggest complaint is we did come out in the second half and we did take our foot off the gas, didn't we? And I know that, okay, you kind of want to put it on cruise control, and just coast into shore, if you will, but keep the pressure on, because when you play a prevent defense, so to speak, you're just preventing a win, right?
Yeah, I agree with everything you said and everything Rohan said, but right now my focus is that I wanted 3 wins back from the international break. Arteta got his tactics exactly right in the beginning of the game, and that includes Xhaka starting, and that includes ESR starting over Pepe. So I focus on that. we would have taken a win any way, shape, or form in this game. Remember a few years ago when Liverpool gave up a goal because a ball hit like a beach ball, the ball hit a beach ball or something? I forget what it was, but I would have taken a win anyway. But I got to win in the best way. A raucous crowd for 95 minutes. We played amazing football in the first half, and everything that you guys said. I'm not going to repeat. I'm not going to gang up on Arteta because while I still think the job is too big for him, he took a first step for me, beating Tottenham like that.
Ryan, is this in fact how long of a road is it back to trusting Mikel Arteta after what we saw on Sunday for you?
It's very long. We have to. I mean, trust is a funny thing because as much as I will give him credit, he picked a good 11. I don't think I don't know how to. I don't think Xhaka was the right pick, but I don't think he was a wrong pick. Because let's say for instance he didn't start. Let's say we had Lokonga. Let's say we had AMN. AMN could have two-footed someone. Lokonga could have two-footed someone. One of them could have did something really stupid. So I'm not going to go down that road and talk that. So I will agree with Glenn. I think he picked the right 11. There's things that in his management that I just don't see. I'm not seeing improvements on, at least not big enough. I think yeah, maybe.
That's funny. I'm sorry. That's funny.
But yeah. So fuck. God damn it, Mike.
That's funny.
I don't know where I was going with this. Oh yeah. So I mean, let's face it. You know, we're on a platform. We talk about Arsenal. We're all friends here, but we have to be critical. We have to talk about negative things. And for me, for me, this podcast and for what I'm probably going to mostly be harping on for this game in particular, 2 words: karma and fuel. Not necessarily negative things, but you know, and we'll get into that later. But as far as Arteta is concerned, I just think his subs. We needed to sub a lot earlier than we did. We didn't sub. We had subs ready to go. We didn't. Xhaka ended up getting hurt because of it, because of his lack of subs. You know, you could see early on that Aubameyang. Well, right from the jump, I think Aubameyang was the team's fuel. He was excited. He was up for it. The team was up for it. The team saw it. This is our captain. This is our guy. This is the main man. We're in. He's in. We're in. And it showed. We dominated him. We wiped him off the face of the earth in the first half.
Rowan.
When Aubameyang started slowing down in the second half, we started slowing down in the second half. Now, I'm a little confused why we didn't bring on Lacazette. I know, like, injury to Xhaka. I mean, we were probably subbing him off anyway, but injury to Xhaka, and I think just a lot of, you know, details in the midfield that need to get sorted out. But, yeah, I just think that we could have kept the fuel going. Maybe not necessarily taking Aubameyang off, but I think that there was a switch that I don't want to say turned off because I think we still played well. I kind of disagree with Dan a little bit. I think we played well. I think we kept it professional. But yeah, as someone that wants a team to succeed and as excited as I was in the first half, which I haven't been that excited for an Arsenal game in quite some time. I stubbed my foot in the fireplace. I was running around the house like a madman during all 3 goals. I want to step on their throat. I want the emotion to keep going. I want it to as a fan. But in the same respect, I think we played well. We kept it professional, and we just got to take that and just move on to Brighton.
Rowan, before I come to you on Aubameyang, just real quick, is when Ryan said he stubbed his toe on the fireplace, all I hear is the Benny Hill music playing in my head with Ryan like stubbing his toe on the fireplace, and then he falls back into the coffee table and that shatters, and something else like falls off the mantle onto his head and breaks, and then he gets up and he trips over something, and it's just the Benny Hill music playing.
It's funny enough, I did knock over. I saw my foot in the second goal. The third goal, I knocked over like I don't know if it's a little coffee table. Man, Megan yelled at me, and I was just like, I literally looked at her, and I pointed her to the game, and I was like, and I just sat back down, and she was pretty mad at me for the rest of the half, but worth it.
It's worth it.
Yeah. Go ahead, Rowan. Talk to me about Aubameyang.
Aubameyang Aubameyang seems to be enjoying the game again, right? Like, and it's not just this game. For the past 2 or 3 games, he's been pressing, he's been running. There's not been that lack of effort. I have never doubted his pedigree as a goal scorer. In my opinion, he is still the most closest to world class that we have, and that's why he's our highest wage earner as well. Last season there was a clear lack of effort, but maybe there's been some sort of agreement that's been reached between him and Mikel Arteta, because it seemed like there was a rift between them, and it seems like that's been taken care of. Or maybe it's the youngsters who have set the tone, and Odegaard, Saka, ESR, they're just so energetic now that Auba thinks that he make a fool of himself if he doesn't perform in that way. Whatever the reason might be, I agree that he was the fuel. It was right from the off that we were pressing, and when Aubameyang is on form, that the goals are coming. He's going to drag defenders with them. That touch for the second goal, that to ESR, and then the finish. This was absolutely sublime. And if he can give this guy the chances, and if this guy can be on form, he's a 20 to 25 goal striker, and that is going to be a big charge for us to get into the top 6 and maybe potentially knock the doors of top 4. I don't know. That's it.
I mean,
whoa, wait a minute. I was looking at something. Did you say top 4, Rohan?
I think so. Maybe potentially knock doors to the top 4. Who knows if Aubameyang is in form, and So let me just add here, right? Like, I think I owe this that I said that the players that we signed over the summer are just squad players, but 4 out of the 6 of them started, and potentially I believe that the 5th one, which is Lokanga, should have also started, and all of that is positive, right? And if that is a change in the team, and this is the direction that the team is going in, then I will support the team. It's not about Arteta, it is about Arsenal, and every time they go in, I'm going to support them. So there is a change, and who is to say that this change cannot, and the momentum and the positivity cannot take us places?
No, I wasn't laughing at you, Rohan. I just wanted you to explain further. I was laughing at Mike, who's being a very laugh instigator during this whole show. Mike, stop making me laugh in the middle of people talking.
Laugh instigator. I never heard that. That's interesting.
So, let's face it, Glenn and Stan, I'm going to come to you guys sort of tag team on this. The fact is, it's easy to get up for this game, right? It's easy to get up for that lot. You know what I mean? This game is massive. Just when you look at the circumstances surrounding it, with a win, by the rights, we needed to beat them by 2 goals. We go ahead of them in the table. So there's motivation there, motivation just because it's them, motivation to go higher in the table. It's all there. And let's face it, we're going to get a letdown on Saturday at Brighton. So,
wow.
God,
wow.
Bloody hell.
No, I don't know. I don't mean a letdown in terms of result. I mean a letdown in terms of intensity.
Oh,
think about it.
Jesus.
Put yourself in an Arsenal kit, walking out of the tunnel at the Emirates against Tottenham, and now you're going to the Amex, a stadium that seats 35,000 people, and it's plucky little Brighton, right? I mean, yes, they're 6th in the table, they're ahead of us, but it's plucky little Brighton. We're the Arsenal. It's on the road. And it's not Tottenham. It's not a big rival, right? The intensity is, you're going to have to manufacture the intensity, right?
I don't think so. I think that if that's the mindset, that they're plucky little Brighton in it, that's just totally the wrong mindset. You now have to. There's nowhere for these players. I said this on the Aftermath show with you. There's nowhere for these players to hide now. We've seen what's possible. They've set a tone. There's kind of a bar has been set. If they go out to Brighton and it's 2 steps backwards, then you have to ask questions. And as for getting up for the North London derby, the players are fortunate enough that not only have we got a lot of players that have just come into Arsenal, but we've got a manager that's played in them. So he should be able to get these players up for it because he's had first-hand experience. But coming up to the Brighton game, for me, this is like another acid test. It's another step now. They don't want to. If they come out giving it like we're cocky Arsenal, big time Charlie Potatoes, then they're going to be banging trouble because Brighton, they're not. They're not just going to roll over and let us tickle their tummies. And if you look back over the last few seasons, they've given us games.
Yeah.
Brighton have given us games, man. Do you know what I mean? And like Arsenal need to take heed of that.
I can never tell when you're done.
Mate.
Yeah, I wasn't sure. I wasn't sure if you were done there or not.
I didn't know if we were going to go for a tornado tag or a hot tag or what there.
Well, since you said Stan Glenn, I'll go quickly here.
No, don't go quick. Take your time.
It seems like for the longest time the last few years, we would get on a run and get positive and then have a game like Brighton, as someone said in the comments before, a trap game, and only get a point or lose. All right, that's a test for Arteta to keep this team up. I think they are going to stay up. Our next 3 games are Brighton, Crystal Palace, and
Villa. Aston Villa.
All right, let's get 7 out of 9 points from those 3 games. That would make me happy, and I would be maybe take another half step towards getting off of that. Arteta the job's too big for him. I want to be convinced that it's not too big for him. And 7 out of 9 points from the next 3 games. I think we're going to beat Brighton. I really do. And that's how they always get me.
Well, but see, that's exactly what I mean. And I'm not trying to be negative by any stretch when I say that this is it's a letdown. There's going to be a drop in intensity. The fact is, we're coming off such a high, right? We just battered our arch enemy. It's not close. This was not a challenge. They were never in this game, right? The intensity level through the first easily 50 to 55 minutes, because we came out in the second half and we were on fire too. It was just more run around and run them ragged. That's what we were doing.
I think it was Lawrence in the chat that said I think it was almost the first minute that tackle by Ben White kind of set the tone, didn't it?
At the very beginning of the game, the slide tackle from Ben White. Yep.
Here we go.
Yep, absolutely. And what I mean, to try to not put it in a positive light with the intensity drop, it's just a natural thing that's going to happen because you're on such a high. Can you manufacture that 2 weeks in a row? I doubt it. That doesn't mean we're going to lose. That doesn't mean I think we're going to lose or I think we're going to draw. It just means that I think you're going to get a slightly lower energy level against Brighton than what we saw on Sunday. And I think what this is going to be is it's going to be a test for the players and Arteta. And Ryan, argue with me if you want. I think it's going to be a testament to their fortitude to come out and just work hard. Run, work hard, but be smart and almost kind of let the game come to them instead of taking the game to Brighton, and maybe let Brighton make the mistake or two. Let Brighton try to run us out of the ground, and then we hit them again on the counterattack. I think the intensity level it comes down a little bit. And I think we're going to have to fight through that a little bit. Am I wrong, Ryan? Does it make sense what I'm saying?
I mean, it's tough. You play both sides of the coin. I mean, my opinion, I feel like it has to, right? The first half against Tottenham, it could not have gone any better. You got a goal from ESR. You got a goal from Saka. You got a goal from Aubameyang. Confidence. We're asking. We've been saying we need ESR to score to be better. Saka is just the gem star boy that we're all lauding. Like, oh, he's great. He's been sucking wind lately, excuse me. He needs a rest. Shuts us up. He scores. Aubameyang, he needs to sit. He's terrible. He can't do it anymore. He's old. He scores. And on top of that, Harry Kane gave Saka an assist. So, I mean, you really couldn't have scripted this first half any better, in my opinion. So, for me, I think, there's just, I don't think you go out with that same intensity. I don't think you have that same that same attitude. I would love to. I think it'd be awesome. I also think too, you know, as fans and being fans of this particular Arsenal team, I guess minus the new signings, but they always, like Glenn said, they'd seem to, you know, build up, and then they just let you down at the last minute. But yeah, I think I am confident we're going to be Brighton. There's a good chance that Brighton will be missing Basuma, and they'll be missing that guy. Love that guy.
So he is in fact out.
Oh, right. I literally just saw Stan's comment. He's very doubtful.
Okay.
He got hurt in the game against Crystal Palace. I also don't rate Brighton pretty much. I know Brighton give us a tough time, but Sam kind of jerked them off in the post game show the other day. And you look at the games they played. I mean, I have it up here. I'll go over through it. So they beat Brighton 2-1. Like, all right. They beat Watford 2-0. They lost to Everton 2-0. They beat Brentford 1-0, which I'll give them credit for because Brentford beat us, and we can make any excuses we want, which I will. You know, in the fact that we had injuries, I don't think we were properly prepared. So I think we play Brentford tomorrow. I think we beat them, but whatever, fine, give them Brentford. They beat Leicester in 2-1. Granted, I think Leicester is not a good team this season. They're not going to be good. I think we're going to get at Leicester. I think, you know, someone like Madison, who I don't know, maybe we'll talk about later, just comparing him to Odegaard because that's what everyone seems to be doing at the moment. You know, he's having a really bad start to his season, and the rest of the Leicester team are struggling. And the 1-1 Palace game, which I watched, and Palace ran them off the field. Palace made a very dumb mistake with 30 seconds, with like not even. It was like 10 seconds left in the game. They made a really dumb mistake, and the cunt of the Premier League just said, you know what, whatever, cool. They're gonna make a mistake. I'm gonna put one in, and he did. He put one in. Literally the last kick of the game. So, I mean, I say this, I'm not worried about Brighton, but come game day, I'm gonna be worried about Brighton because, like Glenn said, they always stick it to us. But
Go ahead.
But I was gonna end with saying I'm very curious how we're going to come out. I'm very curious how Aubameyang is going to come out because, you know, I don't know which one you said. It might have been you, Ryan, but it's very easy to come out for this kind of game against Tottenham. It's very easy. It's a rivalry game. And I think for Aubameyang, it's even more so because the last time we were supposed to play Tottenham, he was getting his hair cut. He was getting all done. And then next thing you know, he came late and he didn't play. And we won without him. We showed we don't need him. Well, we don't need you anymore. So I think he kind of got like an extra boost, and he kind of got like dude, I need to take this North London derby serious. I gotta, and to Stan's credit, I think Stan said this on our last show. Aubameyang probably got to the field probably the night before and slept over.
Aubameyang was there on Friday night, just camping out.
Exactly.
Just camping out.
He could have got his barber to come to the stadium this time.
Yeah, exactly. So
wouldn't that make sense?
Yeah, I don't know. I think he makes enough money, but
right.
Yes,
it's not like he can't afford to call up his barber and be like, "Hey, man, I got a game today. I want a fresh cut. Meet me at the Emirates. I'll get you in."
Yeah. So I mean, it's
you're late. Although you're late, you're not playing. But I got my hair cut.
So yeah, in particular, I'm really going to be looking at Aubameyang in the beginning of the Brighton game because yes, I get it. It was a big deal for him. It's a derby. It's a rivalry game. You got benched for it. And you got kind of, you know, the team kind of said, yeah, we don't need you. Like, look, we still beat them. We still won. So I'm very curious to see how we come out against Brighton. But I think if we just play calm, cool, collected, I think if our defense kind of shows up like it's been doing, I think it'll take it. I don't think it's going to happen on minute one, but I think we'll get into the game eventually as far as our attacking. And I do think we're going to beat Brighton.
I mean, I guess if I had to just give I'll say an example or a comparison of what I mean by this, let's face it, are any of us sitting here as supporters, are we up for this game the way that we were last week leading up to Tottenham? Are we all fired up? You better win. Like we were ready to run through a collective wall last week to get a win, right? Are we really at that point right now?
It's a little, for me, it's different. So obviously, it's very different in my situation because I'm going to be at my fiance's bridal shower. So it's going to be so the situation is different for me, but more so for me, the Tottenham game, I was a little nervous because I was like, I was so confident that I became nervous. I'm like, we should beat them, but I'm like, yeah, but anything can happen.
Well, I have to question
North
you.
London Derby. Yeah.
What's a bridal shower?
Oh, it's like a fucking. I don't know. It's a party for like a newlywed couple. It's really for the bride.
All right,
Or
hang
like,
on. All right, you're butchering the shit.
Yeah,
out of this.
I
All
don't
right,
even.
Stan.
Okay, go.
Stan, you know how you get invited to a wedding and there's like a registry where you can go and buy a gift for the bride and groom. So what the bridal shower is it's a party for the bride. All of her, her bridesmaids are there. The mom is there. The future mother-in-law will be there, and she gets all these gifts. And they it's like a Sunday brunch. They have mimosas and champagne, and it's just a fucking party. But then all of a sudden, the groom has to show up and lug all the fucking gifts into the car and pose for the pictures and put on the smiley face. Rowan, you've been through this, right?
So this doesn't involve Ryan in a big shower being soaped down by all the bridesmaids or anything like that.
Ooh,
no, Stan.
My Arsenal kid.
No, Stan. He'll be in a bathtub being given a sponge bath by all his groomsmen.
Ew.
I'm okay with that too.
I mean, why wouldn't you be?
Shout out to one of my groomsmen, Greg, in the chat. I hope he brought his sponge. I mean, I don't know. I just think with the Tottenham game, I was so confident that it turned into just being nervous because I'm like, if we don't win, like. But now for the Brighton game, knowing what we could do, knowing like seeing the first half, I'm just like, nice, Mike. Knowing what we could do, I mean, I don't know. Brighton doesn't scare me. Tottenham, they have players that can expose us. Was I worried? Not really, but they did have ways to win. Whereas I don't see Brighton winning unless, again, I go to our best friend, the ref or VAR. They could turn games around. They've been known to do it, but I'm more up for the Brighton game because I saw what we could do, but I just hope that the team responds accordingly.
I wanted to hear what Rohan thinks about the Brighton game.
I'm wary of Brighton always, because especially the season before last, they did a double on us. Since they've come to the Premier League, they haven't been a pushover. We've played them 8 times. We've won thrice. They have won thrice, and we've drawn twice. So it's all square. They've been a solid defensive unit. They seem to score less than the chances that they actually get. So they're not going to be a pushover. They're just coming off of the back of a 95th minute goal, which saved the game for them against Patrick Vieira's Crystal Palace, which is another team that is doing quite well or playing quite well this season. So Brighton is obviously no pushover, and these are games that we have to win. If we have to mount any sort of charge for Europe, then we have to win these games. Effectively, it's all well and good. And let me again, maybe bring us back to reality, right? Like, out of these 6 games that we played 4 of these teams last season as well, right? Chelsea, City, Tottenham, and Burnley. These 4 teams we've played. City result was the same as last season. We lost both times. Chelsea and Tottenham at home, we won last time. We won this time. Chelsea, we had done a double on them last time, and we lost against them. So we are already at -3. And Burnley was a draw last time at the Emirates, and we won at Burnley, and we won this time. So that's a +2. So effectively, we're on a -1 right now. Our trajectory is, if you were to take that, is worse than last season, considering that we won against Chelsea twice and we've lost against them already this time. So Brighton, the team against whom we won both matches, we've got to go and win these matches because we have to, accelerate and go ahead of what we scored last time. And you can't do that by losing to teams that you beat last year. You have to add on to wins, right? And Brighton is not going to be a pushover. And why shouldn't you be up for it? This is the attitude that has got us Arsenal into this space where we've always felt like we've deserved to win the match just because we walked onto the pitch? Why should the intensity not be just as much? You just finish off the game. They must have felt such joy to know that at halftime the game was over, right? Why would you not want to feel that every game? Why would you want to give them a chance and struggle in the second half and know that they'll take a draw, etc., etc.? I know that there's going to be times where it's going to be difficult for us to break teams down. There's going to be difficulty in things are not going to go our way, but the intensity should not lack. And of course, against Spurs, there's an added motivation. But here, the motivation should be that all of the effort that we've put into that game last Sunday will go in vain if we lose this game. It means the same thing. It's 3 points at the end of it. It's not like we got a 4th point for beating Spurs and we get 1 less point for beating Brighton, right? All of these are facts. And the players need to know, right? That's how we're going to progress.
The good teams, just like Rohan said, I just want to add this: the good teams will win this next game against Brighton. That shows that we're starting to turn a corner if we don't have a letdown.
Well,
this game's going to come all about intensity. If we come flat-footed against Brighton, we're in trouble. But if we come out with any kind of ounce of intensity we did against Tottenham, I think I'm not scared of Brighton. Like everyone's like, oh, they could have won. They could have won top of the league. They didn't. Palace fucking ran through them. Palace did everything, and Palace are not a team. And everyone's like, oh, Palace are playing good this year. They're 1-3-2. I don't know how. I don't think that's good. Their one win is against Tottenham. And I also want to say this. I'm not trying to take away from this win. I agree. I'm still buzzing. Tottenham are not a good team. Everyone said, oh, they're going to be good. They brought some pieces in. They brought Emerson in. They brought Christian Romero in. They're going to be, they might, challenge for the league maybe at some points. They're terrible. They're not a good team. But again, the derby, anything happens, right? So we trash them. But point is I'm not worried about Brighton. We're going to beat Brighton if the players just show them the first half. See what you guys can do. I mean, Tottenham, again, I kind of just fucking flip-flop and said Tottenham. They are bad, but they just need that intensity. That's all it comes down to. It's some of it, not even all of it. What, Glenn? Come on,
this
come
is
on,
one
Glenn.
of those times where you're speaking, and I'm just dying for you to finish, and my head's going to
Come
explode.
on, what do you got to say? What do you got to say? Let's go. What do you got to say?
And my head's going to explode like scanners. Listen, I just wish you would take a breath.
Wow.
I wish you would take a breath when you talk. Listen, I don't buy this stuff about Tottenham being bad. They beat Manchester City. Nuni Dudu, whatever his name is, the manager, he got his tactics wrong. And he adjusted at halftime. Tottenham are on the down. I believe that, yes. But come on, Ryan. Tottenham are bad.
Let me.
Did you watch the game?
Hang on, Stan. This is interesting, and it was something and it's been a question that I've been asking myself a little bit over the last 2 days. I know what the answer is, and I think we would all answer this question the same way. Are we that good, or were we that good on Sunday, or were Tottenham that bad on Sunday?
Well, listen, I had a fortune cookie on Friday night, and the little thing it said Tottenham are shit, and I even saved it. It's right there. Tottenham are shit, right? Mystic Glen, it's right there. But true story. But you can only play what's in front of you,
right?
Yeah. You can only play what is in front of you. And if Tottenham want to come out with no sort of like proper midfielders in there, that's their problem. We can only go out and do what it is that we've got to do. But my biggest problem going into the game, and it's my biggest worry going into our next game, whether it's Brighton or anybody else, is goals. Because before we went into that Tottenham game, we were lacking goals. The only people that would maybe give us a goal was Aubameyang if he was in a good mood, or maybe Pepe. So when I saw that Pepe wasn't in the team, I was a little bit worried. And we got goals out of Saka and ESR, who haven't been at the sharp end of it when it's come to goals. So Moving on to that next team, my hope is that, does this mean now that Aubameyang's out of his funk and he's going to go back to prolific scoring? Does it mean that Saka and ESR have now found their range and their shooting boots? Because, you know, some of the tone by some of us earlier was, well, you know, people have got themselves up for a North London derby. But if you want to win games moving forward, we need goals. And we need goals coming from around the team. We can't be depending on just one or two players. So it's going to be interesting now away from home. You know, is ESR or Saka, if they're in the team, are they going to be able to follow up with another goal? A bit of continuity.
I think
is Aubameyang going to be, you know, full of beans like he was for the North Derby?
I think Saka and ESR unlocked Aubameyang, and I think Pepe has to earn his way back onto the team.
Really, Glenn?
Let me ask Rowan a question here about Aubameyang and about what happened on Sunday. And I'm coming back to you, Rowan, because that's your boy, right? But seeing Saka and ESR score these goals and score the goals the way that they did, does this relax the pressure? Was Aubameyang feeling any pressure to do it all on his own? Not just to score goals, but to score all of the goals on his own. And now seeing Saka and seeing ESR score these goals, does that ease the burden on him? And you could even throw in the way that Odegaard played, because he was lights out with his off the ball movement, getting into space, drawing defenders. Everything that Odegaard did off the ball was, in my opinion, was tremendous. But does it ease the pressure on Aubameyang now? And does he feel that? Does he see that? Wait, I don't have to do it all here. I can be a decoy every now and then, and let these young guys do what they're here to do.
Absolutely. You know, we want Auba to play without any sort of pressure, and the pressure has been real, right? Because we've known that over the past couple of years, Arsenal hasn't been a team that scores goals from midfield. You know, ESR has been getting into great positions this season, and until this match, he wasn't scoring. He had an XG of, crazy as XG, and wasn't scoring because there were, it just wasn't going in for him. He's not clinical enough. Same with Saka, right? And that leaves, if our wingers are not scoring and if our midfield is not scoring, then the only guy who's left to score is our striker. And that makes them become more precise. While our strikers, be it Aubameyang's a poacher. He's at the right place at the right time. He has that quick one touch finish, etc. And so is Lacazette. Really, the time that they really mess up is when they start thinking too much, they start doing too much, and that's the time that they aren't able to deliver. So it's good to see that he's got players around them who will perform. The first goal that went in was just so important, and that set the tone for the team. Right? And let's not just forget that these two youngsters scored one goal each. They also assisted one goal each, right? So that's a big thing. And to know that you have a devastating front four in ESR, in Saka, in Odegaard, and Aubameyang, that's going to give him so much confidence, and that's going to make him think like, yeah, this is a team to lead. And it's not just the offense, it's also the defense. Now it seems like there's a centre-back pairing which is up to task, right? Although I pointed out in the beginning of the show how Ben White has been lucky, in my opinion, over the past couple of games, where he managed Kane really well. But there are those moments, that penalty kick, that short pass, even Ramsdale for that matter, when the second goal happened, it was his bad. The ball to Xhaka was short, and in my opinion, it could have been a foul on Højbjerg, the push by Xhaka, but he had no other option because he would have intercepted the ball otherwise. For us, it's great that it didn't go that way and it went in our favor and everything just worked out so well. But Aubameyang has to take some, confidence, and he has to obviously demonstrate the energy that he's receiving from these youngsters, and that's definitely a positive thing for the team.
Yeah, and I've said before that within this system, and Stan, if you want to jump in here, I see you're getting a little snicky snack in, but I've said it before that this system is not designed for one man to score 20 to 25 goals a year. It just isn't. It is share the wealth. It is designed for Aubameyang to probably bag 15 to 20. 20 is maybe a little high, but it's geared to get the wingers, the front three, combined. They should be scoring easily 45 goals a year between the three of them. That's what the system is set up to do. Yes, Aubameyang is the target man, but he also will be a decoy at times. He also needs to just pull defenders away and basically do. If you go back and you watch the first goal, what Saka does, or what Aubameyang does, is actually drift out left. He actually goes offside and drifts out left to pull. And it was either Dyer or Sanchez. I don't remember who it was. It might have been Sanchez, but he pulls him away from the space that Smith Rowe simply just drifts into. If you watch, and then Saka with that little stutter step and puts it right onto the foot of Emile Smith Rowe. So for Aubameyang, I guess my point is it's more about being a team player now for him, isn't it, Stan? To get the other guys involved.
I disagree a little bit. I think I'm with BX Gunner 81. I think for Aubameyang, for what we're paying him, I would expect that around 20 should be the standard. If we're going to have a striker that plays in the system and the goals are going to be shared out like what you're saying, then if that is the plan, we need to be moving Aubameyang on as quickly as possible, saving that money, because there are a bag full of strikers out there that will be able to give us the same numbers. But Aubameyang is supposed to be a little bit more special, right? Hence the reason that we pay him as much as we do, and probably all of the bonuses that are in there, that he should be providing at least, I'd say, 20 goals. You know,
but you get my point though with the system. It's not that it's not that he shouldn't be doing it, can't do it. It's that the system just isn't designed for him to do that.
I'm not sure that the other players that make up that sort of triumphant, whoever you mix in there, I'm not sure that they're at that place yet where they're able to maybe consistently chip in with those goals. It's an unknown. There's a part of me that was, there's a part of me that's saying that we're relying a little bit too much on players like Saka and ESR, and I worry about overplaying them. But then on the flip side of the coin, we're not in any European competition. They should be able to play. If they're fit, they should be able to play a league game once a week.
Yeah,
they should be able to do that, right? There's no other distractions. If we need them for a cup game, they can be on the bench, but they should be. If the league is the priority to get high up the table and back into Europe, then it shouldn't be too much to ask, because 90 minutes a week they should be able to handle that now at this level.
Yeah, and don't forget the forgotten man, Martinelli. They always have someone. It's like someone said earlier, healthy competition. Yeah, and now we're looking at Martinelli and Pepe on the bench.
He just in the back of my mind there as well, Glenn, that Martinelli still has something hasn't really. I think he's got a role to play if he's given the opportunity. He must have. But to go back to your original question, Tanner, I get what you're saying, but I've just felt that, as I said a moment ago, before we went into the North London derby, goals seemed to be our problem. Yeah. So it's going to be interesting now moving forward to see whether you're right, whether we've unlocked something, and this is how it's going to be. I'll take it. I gladly don't want us to have one person that we just rely on goals, because woe betide they get injured or something, then you're knackered, right? I want more goals from the midfield. If we've got someone that we know that every time there's a set piece in and around the box that they're going to get that on target, like someone like Odegaard, happy days. I want to see us now also getting more goals in off of corners as well. For me,
yeah, Yeah, that's another big one.
Set pieces are opportunities to score goals. And up until recently, anytime I had a corner or a free kick, that's the time when I can quickly nip out to the toilet or let the cat in, because nothing usually comes off of it. But now with Odegaard standing over the ball, and to a degree Pepe as well, we've got some options. I want to see us in corners now, making the most of those opportunities like we used to do in the olden days, right? You know, when it used to be a corner, you know, with the old back four that we used to have, you'd be rubbing your hands together.
Well, I think Partey has some goals in him. At least his shots didn't go out of the stadium this weekend.
Yeah, he's managing to keep the ball in our orbit.
Yeah,
Right, that's an improvement.
He kept the ball in the stadium this time. He didn't put it out on Queensland Road or Holloway Road, right?
This is the tip that Arteta needs to take, right? Like we played best this season when we played counter-attacking football, right? And that is playing to Aubameyang's strength. That is playing to this Arsenal team's strength, who can pass the ball 2-3 times and then end up in the opposition's box, right? And what you said, Tanner, you know, the system is not for Aubameyang. Yeah, the system of slow, lethargic football in which we try to break down, banks of four.
Hey.
And that game is not for Aubameyang. But what is for Aubameyang is the quick ball, the quick release, the cutback, the tap in, the being in the right place, the fox in a box. That is Aubameyang's game. And you and I have agreed on this before. The manager needs to play to the strength of their players, right? And this is the strength of these players, which is going on the counter attack. And as long as you're doing that, you're going to get goals. We've scored more goals in this game than all of the other games put together, Premier League games put together, and all of them we scored on the counter attack.
One of the key differences that I noticed as well about the goals that we scored in the Tottenham game is that when the goals are being when the ball was kind of moving, players were kind of facing the goal. Play was moving forward. Aubameyang was moving forward, and the ball was coming to him. Instead of, I've noticed before that, a lot of staticness where you're kind of like standing with your back to goal. You're waiting for the pass, and then you're kind of having to do a half turn and look for a pass. There's nobody there, and you're maybe passing it sideways or backwards. The Tottenham game, the play was direct. Everything was moving in a kind of a forward direction. You know, the fullback could have the ball and there'd be people already moving forward, and there was balls that you could run onto and keep the momentum of the play. You keep the speed, you run onto the ball instead of static. You wait for the ball, you stop that you look for the pass, you pass it backwards. And
if you look,
I don't know what the technical thing is for that, what I've just described. I call it more direct, but that's what we need to maintain. And when we play like that, I think that we play more to Aubameyang's strengths.
Absolutely. And go ahead.
The way that I just described before, that plays more to a Lacazette kind of a strength.
Right. And we've always
be mobile. He's more. He doesn't need to be as mobile for that. He's waiting for the ball. The way that we played against Tottenham with everybody moving, that's the key for me.
And you're absolutely right. And if you go back and you watch the buildup of all three goals, and you watch the goal itself, the ball is moving toward the net with the exception of 2 passes. In the buildup of all 3 goals, of all of the passes that made up all 3 goals, the ball only went backward twice, or relatively side to side. It only went backward or side to side twice. Odegaard on the second, was it? No, I'm sorry, it was the. Which he passed it back. I think it was on the third goal. It was Saka's goal. When Kane lost the ball, Saka stripped him of the ball. Saka went forward. Kane loses the ball. The ball comes to Odegaard. Odegaard actually passed it backward to ESR, who is coming forward. Now here's the thing though. ESR is moving forward. So even though Odegaard passed the ball backward, the ball is coming into the path of the oncoming player, who then moves the ball forward ahead to a charging Bukayo Saka, who runs onto the ball and the rest is history. But if you go back and you look at ESR's goal, the ball is actually moving forward. ESR is running in behind the ball as the ball is moving. Well, by the time the ball gets to ESR, it's probably more sideways, but the ball was forward and ESR runs onto it. The same with the Aubameyang goal. ESR puts it in and the ball is moving forward and it doesn't look like it, but go back and watch the ball. The ball is moving forward and Aubameyang comes onto it. Let's not give Aubameyang full marks for that goal because weaker foot, he didn't get all of it, and it took a deflection, and the pass took a deflection. So that is a tremendous goal from Aubameyang. But
flick that he did, where he kind of flicked the ball out to the left,
even there, back,
that was amazing.
Everything was moving forward. The ball
his back is to goal.
Yeah.
His back is to goal, but he chips the ball forward. He chips the ball behind him. I really this is one of the best overall games I think I've seen Aubameyang play.
Yeah, I was shocked because it seemed like Arsenal always had someone to pass to. Everything just seemed to click.
It's because, I mean, in all honesty, this is probably the easiest 45 minutes of football that we're going to play, because in all of these goals, there was no midfield present, and I don't think any team is going to be as naive, but that's fine. You beat what's in front of you. Tottenham were there for the taking, and we did what was what they did. We gave them what they deserved. And in the next game, we get dealt with a different proposition, and we have to come up and show that we have the facilities to go ahead and break down that system.
I prefer, Rowan, the phrase testicular fortitude.
Sure.
Stan should know what I'm talking about with testicular fortitude, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, getting my professional wrestling references in here.
I'm going to cut in here. Sorry. Go, Stan. Go for it.
I'm just going to play a little bit of devil's advocate because, a lot of people are saying that in the second half, we let them back in. But is there a case here that the way that we played in that first half, a lot of energy was expelled in that first half? Is there a case to be made that as the game goes on, obviously we're not going to be able to maintain that, but maybe as the season goes on and fitness levels go up, that we may be able to maintain that style of a play little by little, as the season goes on? Because how could they maintain that, how they played in that first half and come out and maintain that straight away again like that? My other criticism as well is that when he made those substitutions, I get it that you want to close the game out now, but for me, the one person that I would have liked to have seen come on maybe on the 75th, if that's the plan, the best person in our squad to bring on to close the game out is Mohamed Elneny for me, and I would have preferred to see him come on ahead of Ainsley Maitland-Niles. Maybe I would prefer to see Ainsley Maitland-Niles start a game ahead of Mohamed Elneny. But if you're going to close the game out in that situation, I personally would have brought on Mohamed Elneny. Because I think he's one of the best to close a game out. I think he's one of the that's one of his key qualities for me, for what little that he does have.
Because at that point, you bring Elneny in, and you're just basically putting 7 men in front of the ball, and just saying lock it down at that point. But yeah, Stan, I agree with that. Ryan, go ahead.
No, I actually disagree. I'm sorry. That sounded the way it came out. It sounded mean. I didn't mean to say it like that. I think AMN is slowly for me becoming the closer. I like it. I like Elneny. Don't get me wrong. I know Stan was taking it back. I'm still an Elneny supporter, but I think AMN does what Elneny does, except more. I think AMN is a better one-on-one defender. I think bringing for what we want to do as a team, getting into the top 6. I think bringing Elneny is kind of just like saying like, oh, let's just keep the 1-0 and like survive and advance. And yes, I know that's what we want to do for right now. But when you think long term, I think AMN is a more dynamic player. He's got more pace. He's a better one-on-one defender. He's gonna have he's probably one of, if not the best stand-up tackler on our team. And I just think he's going to offer us more going forward. And bring in Elneny, like if we're up 1-0, if we happen to concede, because bring on Nene, we're inviting pressure. We're saying, hey, we want to close this game down. Come at us. We're going to defend you with all we got. There's going to be games where our Ben White, Gabriel, they might not have good games. Tomiyasu just might be off. We might switch off. And if we concede and it's 1-1, having Nene on the pitch, I don't think it's very not good. I think it could be detrimental into us trying to get back into the game. Whereas AMN, I think, offer us a lot of different outlets. And I think we just need to explore their options, and we're going to have to, because, poor Granit Xhaka is out for 6 to 8 weeks. And to be fair, I do want to say I do not wish injury on him. I don't want to say I'm upset, but I do hope he has a very speedy recovery. His knee his knee looked really bad, and I don't wish injury on anybody. But we're gonna need to figure that out. And people are saying, who are we gonna sign in January? We gotta sign somebody in January. I don't really think we need to. I mean, for depth purposes, I do. But I think our starting
Jack Wilshere.
Yeah, no. Again, I'll have Ben White there. I think that we need to really focus in on the likes of Lakanga and AMN, because we know in January Partey is going to be gone, and by that time Xhaka should be back, barring any setbacks, or he's getting other opinions from doctors, so he could be out longer than the 6 to 8 weeks. But yeah, I think we have a very interesting midfield going forward. With Xhaka being hurt, and then when Xhaka comes back, Thomas Partey is going to be gone at AFCON. So I just think we need to explore options and kind of just see the wave that's coming at us and just play accordingly, because I think we have a team now to where we can adjust and play against what we're going against, instead of kind of what Arteta has been doing, is just playing our way, and if it doesn't work, then we're going to lose and we're going to look like shit. So
Glenn, who's your midfield going forward in Xhaka's absence?
Well, of course, it's Lakanga. But going back to Stan's point about closing a game, I would be comfortable with El Neni if he was DM, or I would be comfortable with Maitland-Niles. I really like that Arteta is sticking to his word and giving him a chance.
Yeah. I did not see that coming.
There was a game before the Tottenham game. Is it the one before that, when Ainsley Maitland-Niles was playing sort of more in the midfield, and then he got moved further back in that game, and he was terrible. Terrible.
I don't think so.
Going in on the tackle, giving balls away. He was, you could see the difference in the positioning for me, and I just think that, as I said, I wouldn't start a game. I'd probably go with AMN, but. And if you need to bring someone on to win a game, I'm not talking about bringing on El Neni, but as BX Gainer 81 says, to close a game out, I don't think that there's anyone that we've got in our squad who's more ideal for that, and that's El Neni.
And I think I like this. I'm glad we're talking. I mean, it's good that we're talking about it, but you also realizing too, over the last couple of games, you realize how much we have in depth and how many different options we have, and then we could argue AMN, we could argue on Nene all day long. But if there's been, I would say maybe even, I'll go even back 4 games. You look at our bench and you're like, oh my God, we have options. We have different ways we can combat things. If we're down 4-0, we're up 4-0. It's a close 1-0. It's 0-0. We have a lot of options, and we have a lot of depth at our bench, and we have players that could do a job. And I'm excited. It's another thing that I'm very happy about. And it's good to have that option, because I agree. I guess to an extent, I don't know. I like El Neni. I think AMN just offers us more. And
he does offer us more. I mean,
I guess we're up 4-0. Yeah, maybe bring in El Neni. I just think, I don't know. I almost think
bringing on 81 again says everyone has a role.
Yeah,
right?
And I think that's good. I think that's really showing that the job that Adu and Arteta are doing in our recruitment, and how we do. Let's face it. I do think we have a big squad, and I think we still need to sell more players. But knowing that we have all these different options, it's good, and I think it's going to help us out in the long run. And let's not forget, we have no European football, so you don't really want to. We're not going to have to rotate the squad, but the fact that we have, multiple options in multiple positions, striker, we technically have 4 strikers, wingers, everyone's touting Pepe. He doesn't start for me. He doesn't start for me anytime soon. You have Saka on the right, you have Villastar on the left, and you have Odegaard in the middle. I think that's your 3, and you have a lot of center midfielders, and the defense is interesting too because, I'm not going to say because I'm going to jinx it, but I think our defense is really well, and I think we do have. I know people don't think so, but I think we do have bench players that could perform a role. Maybe not an entire. Now, if we switch out the entire back 4, they're probably not going to play well. But you sub out Holding, you sub in Holding for Gabriel or Mari for White, or I don't know, it's the other way around. I think it's the other way around. But I think one of them switching out the other can do a job. But it's just it's very nice. It's very refreshing to see that there's options out there for us.
I think El Neni is a great option and a great squad player to close games out. But I don't think Arteta and co thought that this game would be wrapped up like this and would be so easy because El Neni wasn't even on the bench, right? So we didn't have.
Oh, I didn't realize he wasn't on the bench.
I didn't know that. I retract everything that I just said then.
El Neni wasn't on the bench, but so that brings me to the next question, right? Which is, we made the change.
You said it earlier, right? And I was on a roll there. You could have just stopped me, and I could have gone back to eating me Ritz.
You know what he was, Stan? He was Kevin Nash with the broken leg in the wheelchair, where he rips the blanket off, and it's a fake broken leg, and he just gets up and anyway.
He drew me in, man. Played possum on me.
Yeah.
Keep going,
but the real question that I felt, and what you rightly said, Stan, is that you can't have that intensity of the first half carrying over in that second half because we were electric in that first half, right? So that being the case, did we make changes too late in that game? Our changes were the 82nd minute was our first change. Xhaka was going to come off and he got injured. So he was the first change. And then we made 2 more changes at 87th minute, right? So all of our changes were on 80 plus minutes. But Tottenham was sort of getting back into the game and they were, they matched us, if not being better than us in the second half. And we didn't try to match the intensity. And that I felt was a little bit of a problem when we had so much in us, right? We could have taken one of our attacking players out. I would have liked to even see, a Pepe as a change, another runner. Once they have the onus, right? They're going to come on to you. You can just bring on another speedster. And
let me ask you a question on that, Rohan, right? He took off on the left-hand side, and I was surprised that he doesn't put bring on a Martinelli, for example, to put in there, or a Pepe. He put Tavares in there. Yeah. So, I mean,
back 3 or back 5.
Tavares is playing on the left forward. Yeah. So is this going to be a one-off thing, or do you think that this is it was more than an experiment, and we're going to see a game that will start with Tavares maybe starting on the left or coming on regularly as a substitute on that left-hand forward side?
I think he killed 2 birds with 1 stone. I think, like you said, I think we needed runners. He's a runner. I think he runs well. He can create chaos in the box for us, but he's also a defender. So I think in that case, okay, if they come, we have a back 5. And
I love that.
Starts to left back, left
most
center
people
back.
go to sleep and listen to, was it Rain and the sea? Daniel's going to sleep with us lot.
So Ryan, help him get to sleep quicker. Go on one of your talks.
All right, so we're going to talk about Xhaka here. Since
well, wait a minute. Well, wait, Glenn. But hang on.
Joking.
But Glenn, you can't jump in because you're going to scare the shit out of him with how loud you are. He's going to shoot up out of bed.
Can I just add one thing to this? Because I'm not going to criticize Arteta for the second half. This team has to learn how to win games, how to close out games, and we won the game. And I agree with all the little points you guys are making. But like I said earlier in the show, I'm not going to pile on because I'm extremely happy, and you're not going to change that.
So yeah, but you gotta be critical. Like you can't, like we didn't play perfect. Like just to say like, oh, I'm happy we won and be blunt.
For
Like
me, the changes could have been earlier. For me, the first
A
change
lot
should
early-
have been
a
at
lot earlier.
70th minute, 65th minute. Why did we just leave it on when Tottenham were on the ascendancy? We leave the same team on for 82 minutes, and the first change is when we got an injury. You know, there's
Hold on a minute, man. Listen, he brings on Tavares ahead of a Martinelli or a Pepe.
Yeah.
I mean, in the words of the Hurricane, what's up with that? If we're going to do wrestling puns, I mean,
Oh my
that's
God.
actually what I
And-
thought. Because when he brought Tavares on, I thought, well, hang on, has Tierney gone off? I'm like, no. So where the fuck's he going then? And then he was up. I mean,
Stan, but you
but
got to
Ray
realize
says it. He has physicality too. Like Martinelli's not physical.
I mean,
Pepe's not physical. They just run.
If
Nuno
you're
can
Pepe or
defend.
Martinelli now,
He can
then
run,
you-
and he has physicality.
Well, if you're Pepe or Martinelli now, why am I going Martinelli? If you're Martinelli or Pepe, are you thinking to yourself, well, hold on a minute, there's a fucking new plague that's coming to
No.
town here? Do you know what I mean? What the fuck's going on?
I-
I thought I was just battling him. Now I'm battling them too. I mean, is this what do you reckon to this? Is this going to be like
It's game situations. I think it's just a game.
I hate sticking up for Arteta so much.
Did
Listen,
it work? Did it work? in your opinion?
Arteta's not playing FIFA here, okay? The team practiced during the week. Obviously, they did that with him, Stan. Arteta would not just be like, okay, I'm just going to throw him
I
in.
mean, you got two wingers you could play there, and he brings on the guy that we've just brought in as a left back. So what I'm thinking is the days numbered for one of those other people that I've just mentioned? Because you would naturally assume that if there's a space coming up on the left-hand side, that one of them is going to would be ahead of Tavares. I was surprised. I'm not complaining about it. I'm just wondering, is this going to be a regular thing? Does Martinelli or the other geezer have to be thinking to himself, well, have I got a competition?
I don't understand. I guess I disagree with you in the fact that I don't understand why we would bring in Martinelli or Pepe in this situation at all. Pepe doesn't track back. He's quick, I guess, but we have quick guys on Nuno's quick. Pepe's not physical. Nuno's physical. Martinelli runs around with his head cut off. He's still really, I feel like, hasn't soaked in on the tactics yet. So I don't think you bring on Martinelli, and he hasn't really. I don't think he has glimpses of brilliance because I think he's just his natural ability. But as far as like seeing a game out and being structured and tactical, he doesn't do that. So I think bringing on Pepe and Martinelli doesn't make any sense at all.
I don't understand. I don't get then how we. Hold on a minute. How do we? No one knew Nuno Tavares before he came to Arsenal. How do we know? Whoa, hold on. How are we saying then that he's got exactly what it takes to be coming on the left wing? But he's played for us for 5 minutes. You don't think that it's a jack out of the box move to me. To me, it's a jack out of the box move.
Well, no, because he could run. You've seen him run. He has pace. That's something that's not that you could just look and see it. Oh, he's fast. He's physical. You could look at him. Okay, he's strong. He moves people off the ball. Okay, he's physical. It's not like he's scoring goals and getting assists. Oh yeah, put him in the left wing. No. You bring him on for physicality. He has some speed on him, which helps, and he's a fullback. So like just by that definition, he's defensive.
If I'm one of Pepe or Martinelli, I'm knocking on Arteta's door, and I'm like Wagwan. Do you know what I mean? What the fuck is going on here?
I don't agree. I don't know why they would.
No,
it was just a situation that we needed physicality, defensive stability, especially like I said. Like I think Nuno, worst case scenario, he drops back. Tierney slots over to a left center back and then become a back five. I don't think it was.
Could have put Aubameyang on the left and brought on Lacazette. I just don't.
Aubameyang doesn't track back and play defense.
That Tavares seems to be that for that position that he was ahead of Aubameyang, Martinelli, and Pepe, who were all kind of more naturally suited to that kind of place.
Like exactly
Yeah,
what Ray said.
Derby as well.
Because it wasn't an attacking change; it was a defensive change. That's
Exactly.
and
Exactly.
the game warranted a defensive change. So I don't have any problems with that. I think the
Okay.
change could have been earlier. There could have been a defensive change, and then, or they could have been an attacking change before in the game. If the change was in the 65th minute, and then he brought on Tavares, then it was a problem. But he brought on Tavares in like 80 something minutes, which is fine. I don't think that's a regular. I don't think if you're chasing a game, he's going to bring on Tavares in front of Pepe or Martinelli. So that's okay. But maybe, the point for me is that the change could have been made earlier. But I think everybody was so surprised by how well the first 45 minutes went that all plans went out of the window. We were missing El Nani, and El Nani wasn't there. We weren't making any changes. He forgot that he had to make some changes. He made the change when Xhaka got injured. So that's the kind of game it was. But the next time, it shouldn't be a surprise that we're winning 3-0 in the first half. We should know that if the other team is on the up, then we have to kill that momentum by making counter changes.
Look, all due respect to you guys, I don't disagree with any of the points you're making. But if I stick up for Arteta again, I'm gonna fucking shit myself. So I'm not. I don't need an excuse to shit myself. But the point is, all right. The point is, I understand the nitpicking, but I think you guys need to let yourselves be a little bit happier about the win.
But Glenn, we're on a platform. I completely disagree. Like, yeah, I'm fucking over the moon, but I want to be critical. I want to be better. Like, this isn't the end goal. This isn't the final boss. We beat the boss and the game's over. We can fucking rejoice and slap dicks. No, this is another step. We have so much longer to go, and and having a platform, having a chat room, maybe besides Mike, that's smart and can talk things out. Just kidding, Mike. I love you. But we could all just critique and stuff. And that's the thing too is before I didn't want to come on this podcast and literally jerk off the Arsenal team. Yes, I'm excited. Yeah, I feel like you are. I feel like you're like, why aren't we doing this circle jerk? Like, where's everyone's dick?
My problem is, Ryan. The problem with me, Ryan, is I always try to put myself into that other person's shoes that's getting criticized. And I thought Arteta did an outstanding job setting the team up. And I put myself in his shoes, watching this podcast, and you guys taking apart, and just like a little tear streaming down Arteta's face.
I guess, but he did mess up. Like the subs were way too late. Now, yeah. I mean, who knows? I think Xhaka should have came off earlier. Now, whatever, but it could have prevented an injury, and in 6 to 8 weeks, and whether or not we rate him or not is besides the point. He is someone to me.
For the injury because it was an impact injury. It's not like he was.
I guess my point was Xhaka should have came off the field earlier. He took too long to come off, and then he waited till the 80th minute. Oh, Xhaka got hurt. Oh shit! Xhaka should have came off the 60th, 70th minute.
Gary's thing that I'd just be looking for another goal. So if I'm changing somebody on the left, I want someone that I would know that for me is going to be more of a goal threat because I'm looking for a fourth goal. That's just me though.
Okay,
if you want to put a back on left back,
exactly, bro. Exactly.
Then maybe that's another way of thinking. But for me, I'm looking to have fresh legs on, but still have an outlet for a fourth goal.
And that goes back to a point that I think I made at the beginning of the show, right, Stan? Where it's not our job to stop scoring goals, right?
And Ray says, look, but Pepe and Martinelli aren't defenders. I wouldn't be bringing them on to defend.
Right, yeah. I
to look for a fourth goal.
Why they came on was because there wasn't a change in the 60th minute or the 65th minute, right? There was no reason for us to try to score goals and risk our game on the 85th minute when we hadn't made any changes, right?
Yeah, that's just me though. That's how I would. That's just.
No, of course, I agree with you, Stan. So I would have made that change. I would have made that change, and that's what I said. Like,
earlier.
I would have made an attacking change and I would have gone for a fourth goal.
Yeah, I agree.
And stopped them on their tracks. But I would have made that change in the 60th minute or the 65th minute.
Please, let me ask a question that requires just a one-word answer, and please, everybody, including you, BG, because I thought it was a portrait of you there for the last 10 minutes. What rating do you give Arteta for the game? And then I'll shut up.
For everything?
That's 2 words.
No.
For everything, overall.
For the whole game.
I give him an 8.
I would agree with that.
I think an 8.
I would agree with I'd give him an 8.
Come on, Ryan. Show me you can do it. Oh, he's froze. Stan.
I know. I'll go last. Let Stan go first.
I think 8 is fair.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe even 8.5. You know, if I want to be picky.
Okay. And the reason he
I mean,
doesn't
that's
get a 10,
that's like a B, right?
the reason he doesn't get a 10 for me is because of what you all have been saying. Because I agree with it. Ryan, what do you give him?
Yeah, I mean, low 8. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't understand that Lone Star Londoner, right? I'm the only one here from London. He gives me the fucking hardest time.
I know.
He's a typical Londoner. He is typical. I bet he's from like South London and all.
He's from. I bet he's from Peckham, Stan.
Yeah, probably from Nunhead, just around the corner.
I love Lone Star. I see him all the time. He either makes me laugh or infuriates me, but he's never boring.
That's true. That's actually very true, Stan. I'll give you that, Lone Star.
So let me jump in here on something because Stan said he's going to go for the 4th goal, right? Here's what you do, and it's not. See, everybody says, "Oh, well, you're opening yourself up to the counter if you're going for the 4th goal," and blah blah blah. No, you're not opening yourself up on the counter if you're going for the 4th goal. If you do it smartly, now is where
is that a word?
It is because Gene Hackman used it in Crimson Tide, which is a phenomenal movie, by the way. Make your depth.
Oh, I saw that.
Something meters smartly. Anyway, we saw the counterattack all game, right? That's how we got our 3 goals. But now it becomes the possession game. We just invited them on to us in the last 35 minutes of the game.
Yeah.
That's my criticism of Arteta. You talk about opening yourself up. Give them the ball. Give them the ball the whole time. That's how you open yourself up. Enough of this. Oh, well, if they hit us on the... If we have the ball and we possess the ball smartly, how do they hit us on the counter? We go for the 4th goal through dominating possession. It was really a tale of 2 halves for me. Well, it was a tale of like 60-30, really. Because the last 30 minutes, we just sat back and said, come on. Give us your best shot. And guess what? They landed a body blow. With the Son goal. Let's face it. How much better of a mood would we have been in? Because I'll be honest, I walked away from that and I was over the moon. I was absolutely. We would all do that if we could, Stan. We would all do it if we could.
I was thinking, lucky bastard.
Yeah, right. But the fact is, we conceded that 1 goal, and a bunch of factors played into it. And you just, I'm sorry, this is me now being critical or being negative, but that stings a little bit because we played so well for 2/3 of that game, and there was no need. There was no conceivable good reason for us to concede that goal. Had they earned it, different story. To me, they didn't earn that goal. We gave it to them because we just sat back. That's why you make that's why you make the changes at 60 to 65 minutes.
I'm just being picky. Again, I love to be devil's advocate. Isn't it good though, in a weird way that they can come away from that game now, and with so many young people in the team, they can show them that and pick that out and say, "You see what happened now? You can't do that.
Well,
you can't let that shit happen.
Don't let
it happen again.
That's the mark of a great coach, right? That's where you okay. So you go back into your film study first thing Tuesday morning to revisit everything. It's okay. We're not in here for a circle jerk, right? Nobody brought their catcher's mitt, so we need to pick the game apart here. We need to talk about where we were lacking, because the first half, let's be honest, there really wasn't a whole lot to nitpick, but there was plenty to nitpick in the second half.
Yeah,
plenty to take apart in the second half and say, should have done better. We should have done better here. And somebody in the comments had mentioned earlier that somebody else, that they saw a comment that Arteta was basically like trying to push everyone forward, and the players were sort of resistant to it and just, kind of sitting back. And look, we ran our asses off in the first half. I get that. But that's why you make the change. As I started to say, it's 60 to 65 minutes. You make the substitutions. You bring on fresh legs, especially in the midfield, so that you keep that motor churning at a high rate. Yeah. I'm starting to lose. I don't know. Can anybody tell me? I feel like I'm starting to lose my voice here a little bit. Do I sound different to anyone? No.
It's exhausting being on a show with Ryan. So,
Glenn, I've barely talked today. Lick my balls.
Gentlemen, I will be right back. Everybody keep going. Please continue. I have something I need to tend to real quick. I'll be right back.
Let me just say something, and then you guys can all yell or whatever. With Arteta, I was very vocal about Xhaka starting and about Pepe not starting. And I was wrong. Learn that, Ryan. You're getting married. Learn to say I was wrong, even when you're not. You got to learn that when you get married. But
you still think that you was wrong that Xhaka started. You don't look back at that game and think I would have still preferred Lokonga to start. And look, I'm really happy with the result that we had. But I've listened to other people's podcasts and comments, whatever, and I've heard some people saying everyone to a man played excellently. I don't see it that way. And I just think that there were some really good passes by Xhaka. But if I'm being picky, and we can't just sit here and was it, you were talking about circle jerking, whatever. Okay, we can't just be sitting circle jerking. The problem is with Granit Xhaka, and he done it again, is that the man can't fucking tackle without sliding in sliding in for the tackle. Or if he doesn't slide in on the tackle, he'll put his arms around the guy that's just right in front of him, both arms, and he'll pull him back. And then sometimes it leads to the guy going down on the ground. And when he does that, it cost us points invariably. There was one move where he went sliding in, and I think it might have been Ndombele. He went sliding in, so he just slid past him like he was on a conveyor belt. Like when you're in one of them sushi restaurants. When you're in them sushi restaurants and the food goes by you on a little conveyor belt, you're just like, Ndombele looked like he was looking at a fucking bit of sushi going past him. He was like, do I want that? It was, and another time he went sliding in, and as he went sliding in, he stopped halfway on the slide in his own box. And I just thought to myself, the longer you're down there on your arse, is you're out of the game. People are still running around you playing football. You're on the floor, sat on your fucking arse. And I just think that, as well as some of those passes that he did, helped, those things that he does in his game, and he was lucky that he didn't get a yellow card for me in that last game.
Yeah, I agree with that.
He's going to cost us points down the road. That's my concern here.
Oh my God, I wasn't saying I want him as a starter. No, I wasn't saying that, Stan. Please go on, but don't say that I was saying that. I want Lokonga starting.
Anderson is saying Xhaka didn't cost us points in that match, and I think that he's probably talking about the one gone. Yeah, he didn't. But if he continues playing the way that he does, he will do. And the points that he will cost us will fucking matter.
Okay, well, we agree there. So stop yelling at me.
Like that what if he does something like that in the fucking semi-finals of an FA Cup match?
Yeah, but why are you getting all like close to the camera and yelling at me? I'm not yelling. I agree with you.
No. Sorry, am I getting excited? All right. And I just feel that moving forward, that this guy's going to continue to let us down. And you wait and see. We'll be back on this podcast at some time within the next maybe 8 weeks or so, and we'll be talking about another Xhaka incident.
Mm-hmm. Well, I don't know. He's hurt, so maybe we won't be. Who knows?
Well, when he comes back from his injury, then
maybe he'll actually lose his job.
I heard a lot of people on Twitter talking about how Xhaka might be done for the year, which I think is crazy.
I heard 6 to 8 weeks. Is the timeline.
I heard people are saying that it's a little tricky. It might be more. I mean, I don't know. I don't want to speculate.
Internally, they are being hopeful. The reason why I think like that they should have made the change. We should have gone for the 4th goal. We should have. And why these half chances that I'm talking about, that Kane, the one that he controlled pretty well, and they chipped Ramsdale and just went across. even the goal that we conceded, maybe like Ramsdale got a complete hand to it. He could have had a stronger hand, in my opinion, and like sort of, I don't know, like done something about it. Because once you get a full hand to it, then you expect the goalkeeper to save it, at least in my book. So, there were these moments, and, call me whatever in that moment. But I've seen Arsenal throw away these leads too many times. We've been 4-0 up against Newcastle, and we've drawn.
Don't remind me of that game.
All. We've been 4-2 up against Tottenham, and we've drawn 4-all. There have been so many situations where we've thrown away games. So then that's the time that you count on it. Even the last time that we were 3-0 up, actually, I got reminded that this was Arteta's. That the end of his bad run that he had, which was against Lampard on Boxing Day last year, we were 3-0 up. We gave them 1 goal, and then they got a penalty in the end of the game, which Jorginho missed, and it ended up 3-1, even that one. But it could have been 3-2 going into 3-3 because it was and tense minutes, and the same could have happened here as well. We could have easily given away a penalty. So there are things to improve, and that doesn't take away from the fact that we were exceptional in the first half. So we can be appreciative, but we also need to look at the reality of it. And maybe you guys have forgotten the number of times that we've got stung before.
Yeah, and that's again, I said I wanted to talk about fuel and karma, and then karma comes in the fact that we got away with a lot, and let's not, and karma in the fact that we got fucked last season. We did, and whether people want to say it's a narrative and it's this, it's that, and we got fucked. We got bent over and fucked last year by VAR, by refs' decisions. We did. So did we get away with a potential penalty to Harry Kane? Yeah. Did Xhaka foul Højbjerg in our leap second goal? Yeah, probably. I don't care. We scored. We won. I'm not gonna use it as an excuse. I'm not gonna use it as an agenda to my narrative against Xhaka. But the fact is, calls went our way. The Tottenham didn't get calls. We got calls. It happens, and we were the lucky beneficiaries of a lot of calls that swung the game our way. Did we outplay them? Yes. Did we deserve to win? Yes. But we deserve it, and just because we're pointing it out, just because we pointed out, that Harry Kane tackle, that Ben White tackle on Harry Kane probably should have been a pen. Højbjerg's tackle on Xhaka's tackle on Højbjerg, it's foul.
That's a foul. It's a foul.
But point is, it's
no. You know what? It's not a foul because ref didn't call it one. Right?
Well, yeah.
No, I mean, I'm being serious. I mean, when you look at it, last year, like Ryan is saying, that's a foul against Xhaka. That's just how the refs treated us last year. It's how they treated us 2 years ago. It's a foul. Now, and I think it should. If I'm a Scum supporter, I'm looking at that. My hands are up. I'm like, what are you doing?
Yeah,
that's a foul. I like to think that I'm a pretty objective fan, and that was a foul. The Ben White tackle on Kane, that's a penalty.
And just because we're pointing it out, and just because we think they're fouls, doesn't make us any less of fans. I feel like people think that. I've talked to people on social media, and because I think the Xhaka foul and Højbjerg in the second goal, I'm not a fan. I don't know what I'm talking about. I
think I'll speak for all of us. If any of us think it was a foul, are we not thrilled that it wasn't called?
Yeah, sure.
I know, but the fact that I'm calling out, it means I'm like, and it's just. And it's funny because what really got me thinking about it was so I missed most of the post game because I had a coach my women's team, and we were playing a game, and I don't want to get too into it because it's gonna get me all worked up, but we essentially had a ref that didn't know the basic rules of the game, which was fun. But he
I'm sorry, I'm laughing at that because
he was actually a Premier League referee. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, right. May as well have been. No, my nephew in the league that he plays in, more often than not, they don't know what to do. A coach from one of the teams will yell at them, and that's when they'll blow the whistle for an offside or a foul or whatever the case, or a handball, whatever the case may be. Like they are utterly clueless. It's like, who are you? Where did you come from?
But anyway,
how did you get this job? Did you just volunteer at the last minute?
I don't know how that works, but anyway, so long story short, too late. But he called a penalty against us, and it didn't. The ball was out of bounds already. The ball was kicked out, and our goalie and their forward collided because I think one of our defensemen kind of nudged, like she shouldered off the attacker into our goalie. They collided. The ball was out of bounds at this point. The play's dead. This happened way after the fact. Ref called a penalty, bad call, whatever. But the fact that I saw players on the other team going up to the ref and being like, "That's not a penalty, ref. Like, what are you doing? Come on, like it's a goal kick. Like, let's go. Let's get this." Like, they were campaigning for us, and then when you see that, you're like, okay, I'm not crazy, thank God. But thank you, Lone Star. As a former player, you're a fucking idiot. Anyways, and
easy. Lone Star, get him. Lone Star. Get him, Lone Star.
I love you, Lone Star. But yeah, and it just shows that you could be objective, you could be on the team, and if you think the call was wrong, like, and I like that. I feel like fans these days. Just if I thought that wasn't a penalty, if I thought that was a penalty on Kane, I'm not a fan. I'm not a true Arsenal supporter. If I thought that wasn't a foul on Hoiberg, you're a fucking
it makes it funnier that
exactly
got away with it.
And it makes it better for me because we deserve this shit. We got fucked last season.
I love it. Say that. Oh, we should have had a penalty. Yeah, you should have. But you didn't.
But yeah, turnabout is fair play, right, fellas? This has been us the last 2 seasons.
Exactly.
This game is a microcosm of our last 2 seasons and all of the calls that we've either not gotten or have gone against us. And the fact is, when you look at these calls, put the shoe on the other foot. If that's Højbjerg fouling Xhaka for that ball and it leads to a Tottenham goal, you're screaming at the top of your lungs that should have been a foul, and you're pissed even today that it wasn't called. And if that's Aubameyang on the edge of the box getting fouled by Dyer, you're screaming for a penalty that doesn't get called. It's that simple. So just call it the other way. Be thrilled that the decision went in our favor, which I am. I think we all are. I know we all are. And we move on. But the fact is, it was a foul on Højbjerg by Xhaka, and it should have been a penalty given to them for the white challenge on Kane. And end up. That's it. Because we'd all be complaining if the shoe were on the other foot. Period. The end.
Exactly. And I think people need to realize that. The Xhaka fans of the world need to realize that. And I don't think Xhaka was. I think, to be fair, I think this might be the first time ever, Tanner. You think Xhaka played really like poorly, more. I think overall, Xhaka was average, because you look at some of the great things that he did, they were washed out by some really poor things that he did. He had some utterly poor passes in this game. He had some utterly brilliant passes in this game. Two things. I said this yesterday. I tweeted this out yesterday. 2 things can simultaneously be true. Granit Xhaka had a great game overall passing. He had a rather poor game overall defensively with his tackles or his attempted challenges. And that to me, he was great over here. He was poor over here. Marry the two, you meet in the middle. He's average. It was an average game for him. I just don't understand. And I'm going to say this fan base, because I'm not a Brighton fan. I'm not a Crystal Palace fan. I'm not a Man U fan. So I don't know what goes on in their fan base. But I don't like this. How like there's certain players that just need like the Ozil thing. If you don't love them, you hate him. If you don't love Xhaka, you hate Xhaka. And it's like, okay, but you got to be objective, and you got to call the game how you see it. Like Go.
Can I make it just real quick, and then I want to move on to this next sort of cluster of games that we have, and we've got about 15 to 20 minutes left here. I want to end on that note, but just real quick on Granit Xhaka. I'm coming. I said to you, Ryan, that I'm kind of coming around on the Granit Xhaka thing more to your end, but there is still a part of me that wants him to perform so well. And just look at all.
He's an Arsenal player.
Well, I mean, but it's a personal thing for me. It really is. It's a personal thing for me where I want him to raise his game and just and become a player that's just like, yeah, you thought I was shit. Yeah, you know what? You're right, I was. But here I am now, and I'm an integral part of this team, and you can stuff it up your ass. I mean, that's a personal thing for me. I don't think he was he was neither as poor as a lot of people are saying he was on Sunday. he wasn't as brilliant as a lot of
exactly.
people are saying he was on Sunday.
Put it this way, this is the last thing I'm going to say about the whole situation. If I had to do a power rankings for the starting 11 for the Arsenal team, he's 11. That doesn't mean he was fucking shit. He was horrible. He was just 11. He was 11 out of 11. That's just that's just how the cookie crumbles. I'm sorry. He's not.
I said this to you on Sunday.
If we want to make top 6, he's not in the starting 11.
Every
great. Real quick. We're great. He played well. If you want to jerk him off against Tottenham, great. But if we have aspirations, we want to make top 6. We want to get European. If we want to get Champions League football, he is sure as shit not in our starting 11. So why can't people admit that? Instead, people hold on to these things. Well, he was a crucial part of our 3 goals, so therefore he has to start game out. He was not a crucial part in all 3 of our goals. Emile Smith-Rowe was a crucial part in our 3 goals. So.
Xhaka's pass on the first goal was brilliant. That pass is right there with Aubameyang's to ESR on the second goal, in my opinion. Like I said, let's not detract from it.
I want to give a special mention to that pass that this one made. Partey made. There was a pass, crossfield pass that he made to Aubameyang, and he just missed.
Oh, that Aubameyang just first touch fail. Oh, brilliant!
I brought that up in the post-game show.
It was a crazy pass,
I'm sorry, you done, Rohan? I just wanted to add one more thing because I know that we want to talk about the upcoming fixtures of games. I am not going to defend Xhaka. Nobody here, no matter how eloquent you are going to change any minds on Xhaka, pro or against. Only his performance is going to change minds. And I think he's a squad player at best for the Arsenal team we all want.
My final word on Granit Xhaka is I am. Because he wears the shirt, I am pro Granit Xhaka. End of.
Well, yeah.
I mean that just like
I'm not.
I mean, but
no, I just don't like him.
But Stan, if he's on the field, you have to. Yeah, I don't like him. I don't like him either. You have to root for him.
No, you don't tell me how to support my club. You just don't do that. I don't like certain players, and that's the way it is. When I see a player giving my club's captain's armband, and he throws it down on the floor and he's telling everyone to fuck off like a petulant child, I don't want him around my club. I just don't.
That's right.
I agree, but if he's on the field,
over 350 bags a year, like fucking about like Mesut Ozil does. I just take a dislike to them. I don't wish them to be injured. I don't go on Instagram and curse out their family and
that's way out of bounds.
However, I can just dislike them. Sure. So when they play for my team, I'm going to scrutinise them, and when they make bad passes, I'm going to highlight it because I'm biased. What I'm doing here is I'm holding my hands up and being honest. If you call that an agenda, then I've signed up.
That's not an agenda.
But you know what? No, I mean seriously, Stan, kudos because you're standing up and you're that's great. You are laying it out on the line and saying, "Look, this is why I feel the way I feel. This is how I feel." End of.
I'm going to wrap it up.
I love it. I love it.
And Stan,
there's nothing to apologize for.
I completely agree with you, Stan. The only I guess difference I have is if he's on the field, I hope he does well.
That's what I mean when I say I'm pro Xhaka. He's wearing the shirt.
But I agree with you. I don't like him. I don't want him. I don't want him the team. I hope he gets sold tomorrow. But if he's wearing the Arsenal shirt and he's playing for us, I hope he does well. I hope he doesn't
want him to do well.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay. So
you don't have to like him.
I don't stand out on the pitch and go, I really hope he has a fucking shit.
You're not going out and buying Granit. You're not putting Xhaka on the back of your shirt.
Is that he's wearing a shirt in the first place. He doesn't deserve to wear that shirt, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, I agree with you, Stan. And you should. Social media is not the real world, so don't get defensive about any idiots that talk shit to you like that. As far as Xhaka goes, I only say on the Arsenal team we all want, he's a squad player, assuming we don't get rid of him. When he threw that armband down, told us all to fuck off. Yeah, I was done with him. So I agree with you, Stan. I'm just saying if he has to stay here, I want him as a squad player. I don't want him starting.
We could. We could the Xhaka thing, boy, it's a lightning rod, isn't it? I mean, even after a massive win like this, it's still a lightning rod. We could do an entire show on Granit Xhaka. My God. Anyway,
please no.
So let's move on here. So the month of October in the league. So I'm leaving out the Carabao Cup match against Leeds towards the end of the month. Just in the league, we have 4 matches. We have Brighton on Saturday. Then we get a week off. Ryan and I will actually be meeting for the first time live in the flesh that weekend that we have off.
Don't be
Oh, what's
weird.
the hotel room number?
Don't be weird. Don't be
Ooh,
weird.
Glenn! Look at Glenn wanting to get involved. I love it.
Sorry, I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
Glenn, just bring that catcher's mitt.
You fuckers.
I'm sorry, I had
Jesus
to. We then go Monday, Friday. So we go Monday Night Football, Friday Night Football. The 18th, we have Crystal Palace at home. Friday, the 22nd, we have Aston Villa at home. And then midweek on a Tuesday, everybody, on a Tuesday is that Leeds, that match against Leeds. We get 3 home games in a row. So we go Crystal Palace, Villa, and then that Leeds Carabao Cup game. But then the end of October away to Leicester. So let's take the 4. Brighton this weekend, 2 weeks off, home for Palace, home for Villa, away to Leeds. So we've got a potential of 12 points. Ryan, I'll start with you. What is an acceptable 2 questions. What is an acceptable point total? Rowan, you want to go?
Yeah, I'll just look at this cluster a little bit differently because Brighton is the next one. That's the international break that we have, and let's just include this until the next international break. So I'd just add Watford.
You want to add that cluster? It's Watford after Leicester.
To it. So that's
so 5. So let's go 15.
All right, I
So
didn't know there'd be fucking math now. All right, I had 3 games and now it's 4. Now it's 5. Let me break out my calculator. Go ahead, guys.
So Rowan, I guess let's just stick with you here. Possible 15 points up for grabs here.
Yeah.
3 of these, or excuse me, 3 of the 3 of the 5 at home. 3 of the 5 at home. What is the acceptable point total? And what do you think we will get?
See, I think that we should. I mean, I'd want to get at least 12 out of the 15 here.
I thought I was crazy. I agree.
The 12 out of 15 here, that brings our total to 21 out of a possible 33. Because what I have also written down here and what I also want to keep in mind before we lowball ourselves is that the next 2-week period right after that international break, we play Liverpool, Newcastle, United, and Everton. That's in the 2-week period. I don't know how many points we're going to get there, but I want to collect as many points before that. Right now, we've got some momentum. We've got some push. We had 1-0 games in our last international break when we went to our last international. This one, we'll go into our next international break after Brighton. We should potentially win 5 games by Brighton and 4 Premier League games. The next international break comes after Watford, and we will have another 4 Premier League games then. Between now the 5 games that are left, I take 10, a loss and a draw, because maybe there's a drop in intensity. We are playing Leicester, we are playing Crystal Palace, who's playing really well. Aston Villa, you don't know which one's going to turn up. It could be tricky fixtures. So 10 is the bare minimum that I want. 12 is acceptable. Of course, I mean, I'm always gunning for 3 points. So, I want 15 out of 15, and there's nothing like it. And that puts us firmly into that, that conversation for Europe, and, sets us up for that 2-week period, the 14 days in which we have those 4 games. But yeah, for me, 10 points minimum out of these next 5 games against Brighton, Crystal Palace, Aston Villa, Leicester, and Watford, and a minimum of 10 or 12. I'm happy. 15, obviously, every gunner wants 15.
Well, of course. Well, yeah. I mean, but realistic.
10. I'd say 10.
Okay. Glenn, you said 12 out of 15, I believe.
Yeah. Okay. Hold on.
Go ahead. Oh.
It's prop time.
Pay no attention to the man behind the curtain. Pay no attention to the man behind the curtain.
We have to get like Heisenberg, where
Heisenberg.
Arsenal, we are the danger. Okay, I want 12 out of 15. Yeah, of course, in fantasy world, 15 out of 15. But we need to be the danger now. Teams need to start fearing us. Okay, 12 out of 15. That's turning another corner for me, and me taking another step towards saying, you know what, Arteta, you might be okay for this job. Okay, and next person up.
Mike, well done. We are all dumber now, having read that comment, but funny nonetheless. Stan.
Yeah, I think 12. I think looking at it, the two away fixtures, maybe a draw. But I think that 12 it would be acceptable to get out of the next 19.
Yeah, Ryan.
It's so difficult because I don't know how we're going to respond to the next game, and I don't know if this Tottenham game is just like in a bottle and just once in a lifetime game for us. But in our next 5 games, I'm not worried about any 5 of those teams. I think none of those 5 teams scare me. I think our hardest game probably Villa.
Not Leicester away.
No, I don't think Leicester's good. I don't think Leicester's good anymore. I think the defense has gotten shoddy. Soyuncu is turning into their version of Xhaka. Madison's playing like shit. Their only saving grace is Vardy. Their center midfield. Didn't one of the guys go to another team? I'm not Everton, I think, right? Indeed, I don't know. Anyways, on the Leicester doesn't scare me. The only real test I see is Villa. Which will be an interesting game. And I remember, was it last season or 2 seasons ago? They flat out embarrassed us. And I still haven't forgotten. That was like the first game in a while that I saw where I was just like actually like shell shocked. Like, well, this is embarrassing. Like, what do we do? Like, I'll never forget my. Okay, I guess I'm done talking.
Not you. That wasn't for you. Keep going.
I'm kidding. But yeah, no, I'm confident we have a very good chance of getting all 15 points. With that being said, what do I expect? I would think maybe 10 to 11 would be nice. Maybe we drop the Villa game, or maybe we get 2 draws. But if this Tottenham game is for real, if this team is really coming into itself, because like they've shown signs of it, against Norwich, against Burnley. Have a good night, Gary. But it's just a matter of, can we keep it going? Can these players really gel together? Because they're only getting better, and a lot of new signings are just, obviously they don't need to get bedded in, And I think hopefully we could just, keep the ball rolling. And I think some of these games I'm not even worried about intensity. I think just on paper, I think we should be rolling these teams down. We just got to score the goals.
Yeah.
That's
you
didn't answer your question, did you?
I don't need to answer the
did.
question because I'm the host of the show and I can do whatever the frig I want. You know what? I'm in line with everybody here. I think realistically we can't accept anything less than 10. A loss and a draw somewhere in there. Stan always says, it's down to the performance itself. It's not always necessarily about the result. And I can live with I don't want to say I can live with it because that makes it sound like I settle for losing. I don't. But let's face it, this is a tough league, right? I mean, there are no gimmies anywhere up and down this schedule. We were hanging our heads in shame after the Brentford match. How could we lose that game? Meanwhile, they go to Anfield, or excuse me, no, that was at Brentford, the Liverpool match. Was it at Liverpool? Was it at Anfield? It was at Brentford.
It was at Brentford. Yeah.
But they hang right with who I think right now are the best team in the league. I mean, the standings bear it out. They are the best team in the league. But they hung right with them. 3-3. Didn't back down. Looked them square in the eye, took everything they had, and handed it right back. I'll look back at that loss. If things go the way we hope they go, you look back at that loss and you say, okay, fair play. They're not a bad team. We were a little too big for our britches there, and thought we should walk in there and just walk all over them, and we didn't, because Liverpool didn't, So, acceptable.
So I'm just
10.
laughing at MFB.
Yeah, I knew whatever everybody was laughing at. I saw it.
No.
There.
All right, first of all, I don't know
if he's slagging us off, but that's a compliment. I'm not sure. I can't.
Right. Well, I mean, look, you know what? I'll take it seriously. Glenn, you were going to say something. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, we take 12 out of the next 15 points. I'm not even going to think of that Brentford, Chelsea, Manchester City first 3 games. I'm going to be ecstatic.
That's 4 wins out of 5, and that's pretty big. There's large Marge.
Don't say that so loud.
That's why you wear earphones, Glenn. put earbuds in, and we can say whatever we want.
Vision of large Marge. We used to watch the Tom and Jerry cartoons, and every time you saw the woman of the house, you never saw all of her.
You never saw her face, yeah, right?
You saw the knees down, right? The knees down, and you never actually saw her.
If I put on headphones and don't hear her, you'll see her arm come grab me off.
All the more reason to wear the earbuds, Glenn. All the more reason.
Boys,
do you need to go? Go ahead.
This was a fantastic 2 hours, but I got to go. Thank you so much.
See you, Glenn. Thanks, buddy. Yes, you will. There he goes. What was I saying here? Yeah, 12 out of the next. That's 4 out of 5, right? That's 4 out of 5. To MFB's comment here about keeping you grounded, and I said this in the post game. I don't want to be negative. I don't want to be a downer here, but the fact is, okay, Sunday was Sunday. It's go time now at Brighton. Now it's time to put Tottenham in the rearview mirror, and it's time to move forward. What the saying is, Stan, over there, it's we move, right? Well, we moved to Brighton, excuse me. We moved to Brighton now. That's it. Tottenham was great. It was feel good. We all loved it. We're jumping up and down for joy. We set off fireworks. We drank ourselves silly. It was my birthday. It was a fucking great day. But now it's time to go. Now it's down to business again, right? And this is the grind and the rigor of the Premier League. There are no gimmies here. It's time to go down and play a team that right now are in 6th position. Have they played anyone worth a shit? Not really. But they're going to be up for the challenge. And I think this is a game where you go down and you just sort of, the first 15 minutes or so, you absorb what they're going to throw at you. Terry
Henry just interviewed Neil, whatever the fuck his name is, Neil Mbappé, whatever the fuck his name is.
Neil
and he was like, "Oh, you're playing Arsenal next week." They took it in French. Neil was like, "Yeah, I love scoring against Arsenal. That's always fun." So
I mean, let's go. Bulletin board materials, not something we ever hear about.
What you do is if you're Mikel Arteta, you blow that up, right? You go to the front, you blow that up, you put it on the fucking change room,
on the bulletin board.
Leave it there.
Put it up on the corkboard. Hey, guys. Remember Neil Mopé took out Bernd Leno a couple of years ago? Knocked him out for the rest of the season? This is him. This is what he's saying. Look at what he loves to do against you. Somebody go out there and knock him on his ass.
He's not even that good. That's what gets me so worked up.
I mean, I Lone Star, I love your attitude towards it. I love the positivity here. Go out and stuff them. It's Brighton. It's not Barcelona. But, hey, the minute you start that attitude, it's Brighton, not Barcelona, you're in trouble.
Mm-hmm.
You're in trouble. You look at who's in front of you. Look at where they are in the standings. You look at what they did against Crystal Palace. And Ryan, you say they didn't do shit against Crystal Palace. But you know what they did? They leveled the game in the dying seconds. They kept coming. Yeah, it was a mistake by Palace. I get it, but they were there, and they capitalized on their opportunity. That's what they did. And I need to be like the hype man for just put me in the dressing room before a game. Please, for the love of God, Arsenal. I guarantee these guys will run through a wall if you let me give them a pre-match pep talk. Yeah, let's do final thoughts, and then let's get out of here, shall we? Rowan, I'll start with you.
Final thoughts is, 3 games we lost, 3 games we won. I don't want this season to be a write-off. Like I said at the beginning of the podcast, we have a chance now. I've seen that there are some of these players, at least 5 of them are starters. Tavares is a capable replacement for Tierney, who we know has an injury it has a history of injury. So keeping all of that in mind, young team, exciting talent. I want to see some exciting football again against Brighton. But most of all, I want to see the 3 points. And the next 5 games are critical. They just set us up for the festive season. They set us up for the difficult run of games that we're going to have in December. And at that point, we shouldn't look back at points that are dropped here. So going to be supporting Arsenal as usual. Going to be supporting each member of the team, Arteta. But let's end this international break with wins, like how we ended the previous one with losses, so that we don't think about our losses during the next international break. And then let's take the next step forward.
Here. Ryan, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to the Brighton game. We gotta just keep that going. And I know Aubameyang was the fuel, but we all gotta all 11 players in that pitch have to be the fuel. Because I don't want to rely on Aubameyang. And just really quick, because I know you guys talked about Aubameyang and how important he is, and they need to score 20 goals. He does not. If we want to play like Man City killed the league last year, walked away with it halfway through the season. Who is their highest goal scorer? Gundogan at 13 goals. He was tied for 9th. They have just a lot of guys that score a lot of goals. Or a lot of guys that score goals. I shouldn't say a lot of goals. So I don't think we really rely on Aubameyang. And it's good to have him, and it was good to have his spark for the North London derby. But these players need to take it upon themselves and really be up for the game. And we just need to keep playing the way we're playing, get in that box and create the opportunities, because we're creating them. We just got to put them away. And I think we have a nice run of fixtures that we could really show the Premier League that we're getting better, and we're young as shit too. So be scared of us for seasons to come.
Yeah, I like it. Stan, you're up.
Coming back from the last international break for me personally was quite symbolic, because from the day that Mikel Arteta got appointed, I was kind of 50-50. And I thought to myself, well, how long do you give this guy to see whether I think that he's good enough for the job? And my forecast was it kind of falls around November time. And it's just going to nicely come into where we stop for that next international break after the Watford game. So when we came back from the last international break, we kind of on that back straight for me. If this was a race, and coming into that back straight. And I have to say that since we've come back from that last international break, Mikel Arteta has exceeded my expectations. The forecast that I thought I would find acceptable, we're above that. So from my personal standpoint, I want to see that continue. We're halfway now in this little window before we've got 5 or 6 games left, including a League Cup game or an FA Cup game in there. A cup game is in there. And if we get to that Watford game and we've managed to keep this run together, then I'll be I'll be like giving Mikel Arteta a stay of execution. I'll be extending that up to probably around about the January time, small steps. So he's exceeded my expectations since we've come back. And I'm really looking forward to the next game. Over the last few weeks, being here in Vancouver, sometimes it's an early kickoff, and I'm like, fuck that. I ain't getting up at 4:30. I'll get up at my regular time and I'll just watch it back. I'm now getting back into that mood where I'm that excited that I'm like, I want to get up now to see the next game.
Yeah. Here. Stan, shout out the chat for me, as always.
Yeah, a lot of our usual regulars in there. Lone Star Londoner, of course, front and centre. You're not Sentiment FC, love Arsenal, hate Cronky. He's in there. I think that's the first time I actually managed to get that rolled off the tongue. Like,
I think we're just going to name him Why Not FC.
How you say it properly. So, okay, I'll be practicing that. Ray Anderson's in there. A new face in there this evening. Where is it? Has he or she gone? Something, was it Hail Donkey?
Ola Donkey. Yeah, he's not. They are not. They've been here before. But.
Okay, Gary's in there. Don't waste the tweet. And Laguna's podcast is in there. The Arsenal Luchador is in there. The Gerbil's in there. So Lawrence Emmanuel, BX Gunner 81, Ian Matey, a lot of regulars. Thank you all for coming in. And remember, keep sharing the podcast so that we can let more people know what we're doing over here. And again, thanks for coming in each week and listening to the four of us just rambling on about the fucking game that's just been. Cheers.
Yeah, it is nice to see a lot of the regulars, come in here and somebody who does what I do for a living, as a bartender. We love people that come back. That makes
And
us
Daniel
feel good.
Shaw, I miss Daniel, sorry.
Dan, yeah, yep. But it's the same thing here to see you guys all come back and support us every single week. It means the world. We love seeing new people. We always want more people to come in, new folks to come in and watch. But seriously, to all you guys, because you guys are here week in, week out with us, we love you guys to death. I put it in the comments there for you. Cannot express my gratitude and appreciation to you all enough. My final word will be the same as it's been for a while now. Camp Beagle over in Cambridge posted up outside MBR Acres to try and shut down the beagle farming that is going on in there, basically being bred to be sent off to be tortured. We need to get on whatever platform you're on. Please, it's all over all of my social media. Please get on there and share as much as you can. Sign the petition. It is on the it's pinned to my Twitter profile. Please just share it as much as you can. They're actually facing the campers, the protesters are actually facing an injunction from the High Court in England on Monday, which means that they would be required by law to vacate the premises, which would mean basically that Marshall Bioresources will be free to continue to mass produce these dogs to be sent off to be tortured, and it's
So they actually
absolutely
breed
awful.
these dogs for that purpose
It's
within
exactly
the walls, within the
if
walls of their facility.
yes.
Fucking hell.
Yes. If you Google Marshall Bioresources and you go to their website, it will tell you exactly what they do and exactly what these beagles are. And it's beagles. And it is they tell you that the beagles are clean, which means that they have not been dewormed, they have not been vaccinated. When they get to a laboratory, they are completely untainted. They have not been when puppies are born, they're just born naturally with worms. Now they're not the most dangerous. They tend to go away on their own, but there is a vaccination that will kill them off sooner. When I got my second dog, Katie, she was about 1.5 years old, and she had worms because she had never been dewormed. Was it now? If she goes her whole life like that, they'll kill her. Most dogs eventually they will die off. The worms will die off. But it was a very simple. It was a powder. I put it on her meal 3 times. She ate 3 meals with this powder, and the worms were gone. But if you go to the website, the Marshall Bioresources website, it will tell you exactly what their purpose is, and that is all they do. They mass breed them. They go to the bitch, which if you know anything about dogs, the female dog that rears the puppies, she's called a bitch. But they just and that in itself is abuse. They're not meant to have multiple litters of puppies, and they go to the bitches and they just breed them over and over and over and over again. The studs really, let's face it, that there's a reason it's a bitch and a stud, right? And I'm not trying to, I'm trying to make a little light of it, but they can do it. That it's not necessarily a problem for them. But the puppies then at 16 weeks old, and just Google a 16-week-old beagle puppy and see what it looks like, and then you tell me if you can stomach seeing the images of it being brutally tortured, having things jammed up its nose, jammed down its throat, shots left and right, and there is virtually zero connection between the way the dog reacts to the testing and the way that a human reacts to the testing. Ricky Gervais had a great quote: "Smart people of the world, don't get shampoo in your eyes. It stings. It hurts. So stop fucking testing on animals." Done. Right? So Camp Beagle, just, get on Twitter. Look them up on Twitter. Look them up on Instagram. Free the MBR Beagles is the hashtag. But please do what you can to help this cause and shut this place down, and get those beagles the hell out of hell is really what it is. So I don't know too many people that hate dogs to the point where they would wish this on anyone, on any animal. So let alone a beagle. One of these days, I'm going to get one of my beagles and hold them up here and let you see them, and then they're sleeping right now. But that is my final word. I apologize for it being so long. You guys know how I feel about this. Please, please, please do what you can to help. Thank you, everyone in the chat. Ryan, Rowan, Stan, and Glenn, of course. Gary, who moderates the chat for us every week. Thank you guys very much. Certainly appreciate it. It has been good footy talk, guys. We will see you out there.